Hi guys, and welcome to my webinar today that is aimed at you if you are considering starting your own business. If you've been thinking about getting going, becoming an entrepreneur and throwing yourself into an exciting new period of your life, I'm going to give you 3 secrets that I have learned over the last 20 years of being in business to help you understand what it takes to be an entrepreneur and how you can avoid some of the pitfalls that are absolute schoolboy errors that happen all the time. I see them all the time. I've coached over 300 people to start up in business and take that initial plunge, and I've seen loads and loads of different mistakes that have been made over the years, and what I'd love to do is give you some tools to help you avoid those mistakes and take a faster track to the point at which you become a successful entrepreneur. So let's get started, and let's start with the first secret that is a vitally important one, and it is, first and foremost, because it's right at the beginning, there is no right time. There is no right time to start a business. You will always be able to find an excuse not to begin your entrepreneurial journey. I recall way back when I first started in business, we're going back 20 years ago now, I've been thinking of starting a business for the last 5 years, and I kept putting it off. Because I was comfortable. I had a great job, I had a great career ahead of me, I had my company car, my cushy salary, and all the things that come with it. I had what appeared to be a stable future, and yet I had the entrepreneurial itch, but I kept putting it off and putting it off. And when I finally took the plunge, I found out I had my first child on the way, and that the economy was just going into a nosedive. There was a huge recession, and it was just chaos for me. But when I actually took the plunge and I remortgaged my house and I started my very first business, I never regretted it once. And time again, when I speak to entrepreneurs, they will tell you their biggest regret is that they didn't do it sooner. So there is no right time. So my advice to you guys is, don't put off what can be done today until tomorrow. In fact, I've got some other analogies that absolutely fit this principle down to the ground. Ask yourself the question, when is the best time to plant a tree? The answer is 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is right now. Don't live on someday I'll, guys, like I did, where I kept saying, someday I'll become an entrepreneur, someday I'll become a business person, because you can keep that going for years and years and years and never living up to your potential. So if you have got the entrepreneurial itch, if you've got that wondering thought in your head that that yearning to become a business owner, somebody that is the captain of their own ship, there is no right time, guys. The only time to do it is right now. So, secret number 2. This one came as somewhat of a shock to me, I have to tell you. You don't have to be clever. You don't have to be clever. I'm not particularly bright. I've been in business for 20 years. I've had loads of businesses. I meet people all the time that have not got degrees coming out of their, MBAs and all of this kind of stuff. In fact, quite often, the very best business people aren't actually academically that bright at all. In fact, one thing that I would recommend that any entrepreneur does is read the famous book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Absolutely classic. It's like an entrepreneurial rite of passage. You have to read that book. And what's fascinating about that book is the rich dad and the poor dad are his two father figures that are in, one's his actual father and one's a father figure, one's his mate's dad. And his mate's dad is not academically blessed at all, and he's a builder, and yet He's a very, very wealthy guy, extremely wealthy guy, applying common sense principles to his business. And he actually taught Robert Kiyosaki these principles himself. Whereas his actual dad was an intellectual. He was a lecturer at a university, extremely bright guy, but not very wealthy at all. Why do you think this is, guys? Well, in my experience, sometimes being clever can hold you back because you overthink things. Our brains get in the way. What our brains do is when we're clever, when we're bright, we think of all the reasons that why things could go wrong. We overthink it. And overthinking is by far one of the biggest things that will hold you back in your business career. Because when we overthink things, it stops us from taking action. And taking action is the most important entrepreneurial trait that helps entrepreneurs keep moving forward and keep making decisions quickly that take them to the next stage. In fact, a lot of people attribute success with speed, taking action quickly, and overthinking can hold back the taking action process. So don't worry if you think I'm not clever enough to be an entrepreneur, because a lot of entrepreneurs aren't particularly academically blessed, and I would include myself in that particular category. However, overthinking things, taking the back off the telly, as we call it in business, can hold you back. So don't let that hold you back, guys. Don't overthink it. You don't have to be bright to be an entrepreneur. And finally, secret number 3. Use a proven system. Now, believe it or not, for thousands of years, people have been in business. And this has been documented. And this can be learned. When we go into business, we don't need to figure it out ourselves, especially now we live in a world where we can go onto YouTube or the internet and Google, and we can get all the information we need. What I suggest is you use one proven system. Because if you stick to a proven system, if you find your guru, you find the person that inspires you, you can use their system and they can show you the key to success. Now, I'm talking about a business entrepreneurial system here. And in other words, you need to follow the advice of a mentor who can give you the system, somebody who's been there, done it, and has got the advice to give that is really credible. Don't take advice from people that aren't entrepreneurs. This is one of the biggest problems that we have, particularly when you're starting up. If you're asking the advice of people that aren't in business themselves, people that aren't entrepreneurial, about whether or not you should start a business, what do you think the likelihood is of the answer you're going to get? People that have been in business are the ones that you want to consult, and getting a mentor that can teach you a proven system, that can show you the fundamentals, the foundations of the entrepreneurial learning habits that you need, and there are many, many, many more than just the 3 I'm showing you here, can give you a foundation that are going to accelerate you to success. Because when I first started out in business, I spent the first 10 years of my business just kind of winging it, guys. And I've got to tell you, it was really tough. And the first 10 years of my business, I kind of trod water. You know, I hit a level that was, you know, nowhere near the actual capabilities that I had, because I didn't have a proven system. I was kind of winging it. It wasn't until I got myself a mentor and got myself an understanding of what we need to do in business, because people have been doing this for thousands of years, guys, that I started to understand how a business can be scaled using systems that might not be in exactly the same industry or exactly the same space, but the principles are the same. And I think the thing that really brought this home to me was when I read a fabulous book, and another one that I'm going to recommend to you today, and it's called The Richest Man in Babylon. Now, I don't know whether it's true or not, but at the beginning of the book, they say that they found this ancient scripture that was written in when they unearthed the city of Babylon I think it was back in the 60s. And at the beginning of the book, it describes how they were able to interpret the book, and it was a memoirs of a businessman, and this businessman was the richest man in Babylon. And the principles in the book hold true today, just the same way as they did way back then. This guy was a trader, he was a businessman, and the way that he interacted, did his business, still holds true. He had a system, and he taught that system to his students. The same thing happens today, guys. So find your guru, get that proven system, get your mentor. Now, if you want that mentor to be me, I'd love to help you. All you need to do is subscribe to my channel. Check me out, grantstain.com, and follow my stuff. I've got loads and loads of free content, and I love inspiring budding entrepreneurs. I want to help you find your way in business. I've got loads of free content, and you can reach out to me if you want to find out more. So subscribe and like. I really hope you found this useful, guys. Remember what I said right at the beginning? I believe entrepreneurs, they are the most important people in this world to help the world go round. Entrepreneurs inspire, they excite, they innovate, and they're the ones that can change the world. They can make the world a better place, and I really want that to be you. So I hope you enjoyed the webinar, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks very much.